My name is Reverend Father Thomas Onabe. I'm a Catholic diocese priest of Ogoja, and I'm from Cross River State, of course. Yeah, of course, I'm a Nigerian, a priest, but I choose to dress this way because we in Nigeria we have a culture too. We have our own culture. We have the Hausa, the Igbos, the Yorubas, and I love dressing like the Hausas once in a while, especially when I'm not with my cassock or my Roman collar, because I'm a Nigerian too, and I stayed in the north. I stayed in Jos Plateau State for about 3 years. So there we used to dress, especially on Fridays, we dress like this in solidarity with our northern brothers. So I am not a fanatic of any tribe. I like Nigeria. I love the Igbos, I love the Hausas, I love the Yorubas. Well, Nigeria is a beautiful country. We are so blessed with human and natural resources. You know, we are blessed with everything you can think of. It's a serene country, the weather, it's a place to be, it's a wonderful environment, the people are hospitable, and it's a nice and calm place to be. It's one of the best countries in the world. We have a lot of people who are very creative, who are very hardworking, who are very industrious, and we have also very nice people, beautiful women, handsome, intelligent men all over the world. You know, you can't be in this world and say you don't know about Nigeria. It's a great country. It's a great country. Yeah, every country in the world has its own challenge. You know, there is no country without a challenge. We have our own challenges, and oftentimes we talk about corruption, our leaders, you know, as one of our major challenges. But this thing is, for me, it's a problem. It's in the system. You know, because the person talking to you today about corruption will become a leader tomorrow. You know, the people who are leaders there were once were masses like each and every one of us, and today they are leaders, and the corruption have not really stopped because this problem is the problem of a system. So it's not something one man can wake up and say, I want to stop corruption. So it's something that is a gradual process. We must have this awareness. We must create this awareness among even our little ones, our children, you know, so that they grow up with it. Yeah, that is why I'm saying that one of the ways we can curb this corruption and make Nigeria better is to begin to educate and teach our children the right values. You know, we lack these right values. We need to begin to teach them even from the primary school to begin to know the right thing to do before they get to the secondary school. We are told in Israel that the children are security conscious. They teach them even from primary school how to be security conscious, you know, because they have a problem of security. They're always fighting their neighbors, you know, the Palestine and the rest. So because of that, every Israeli child is very conscious of security as young as they are. So we too, if we have a major problem of maybe corruption, we have to start teaching our children from primary school. You know, we can put a course called anti-corruption course. Teach it all over the secondary school. If you don't pass it, you can't become a graduate. Just like we have English and mathematics to really make us solve this problem, because the problem, like I said, is in the system. Those who are men of God too must be encouraged to preach about it. Awareness campaign. You know, not just having anti-corruption as I don't know whether it's a group, but in practical, it must be taught and encouraged all over the country. Yeah, the word I have for my youth is that they must learn to rise up to the challenges of this country, Nigeria. They must work hard and work harder every day, because the country is becoming more challenging every day. It's not just enough to go to school. It's not just enough to have a certificate. You must be ready to know how to do something. I encourage the youth, while you go to university, you try to learn a trade. Those around me, I tell them, you know, if you're a girl, you could learn seamstress, you could learn how to bake, how to do makeup. I mean, you should be able to add something to that your certificate, because there are times that you may not be able to use that certificate. There are times you may not get a job. There are times you may not even you may even get a job, but maybe where you are working, there's strike for 6 months. What will you be eating? You know, so you need to have something like a backup, a plan B. You know, that is what we lack. Yeah, what we can learn from other countries is that other countries, they try to be more practical. If you see the Chinese that come here, they don't know how to speak English, but they know how to make roads, how to build skyscrapers for us and do so many things. We must learn to teach our children how to do these little things too. This little handwork, if you like. In our country, Nigeria, we see those who do handwork as useless people. But if you want to look at life, I was telling some people one day in the church that let us look at this church that we are now. The people that really built this church or made this church to be what it is, perhaps none of them went to school. The man who built the house is not educated, is not a graduate. The man who roofed the house is not a graduate. The person who produced the pews that we are sitting is not a graduate. The tiler I brought that put marble in my altar is not a graduate. The man who did the POP ceiling is not a graduate. The man who did the electrical work is not a graduate. So sometimes you begin to ask yourself, the people who really went to school, where is their work seen? How do we meet them? They are just in the offices. I mean, just look at this church, for instance, like I gave an example of that, my church. Tell me one thing here that was done by a graduate or somebody who has masters or who has a doctorate. So the whole thing we are using is from, people who are not educated. So much like that. So I'm not saying the education is not good, but I'm saying trying to blend it with sometimes business. It helps you. Yeah, talking about myself, for example, I went to the seminary. I'm a priest. I was trained to be a priest, but I decided to learn some other little things. First of all, I began evangelization through the media. I was not told to do that. My bishop didn't say I should do that. The priest I work with, they didn't do that. I didn't learn it from them. It was my own extra effort, using other persons too as my motivators, the likes of Father Beckhamson and the rest. So I began developing myself, not only being an evangelizer in the social media, but I also went into photography. I know how to snap. I'm a professional photographer. Even this video we are making right now, I'm making the video myself. Nobody's behind the camera. I'm just alone. It's so funny. So I can do all kinds of video. I can edit videos. I can edit pictures. The postcard I post every day, there are my handwork. I learned it. I spent some little money to learn these things, and I can do it by myself. So if I'm not a priest today, I have my cameras. I can go into photography and, I'll be able to get something to eat, that kind of a thing. So we must learn to do some extraordinary things to not just saying, because I'm a priest, I'm not shifting ground. We must learn to shift grounds and learn other things to help our youth in life. Yes, one of the major problems of our country is the problem of power. Yes, we know that. But we are also trying to look at how can the government, encourage other sources of power, like the solar energy is very important. We have sun in Nigeria. There are countries that don't have sun. There are countries that are so cold, their temperature is minus 30 degrees. But in Nigeria, it's a very hot country. So we should encourage solar energy. Though it's very expensive, but if the government put his hands on it to subsidize it and encourage maybe remove import duties, so that these Chinese people can bring it and also teach our children how to produce it. Why should we be teaching our children electronic engineering at this time when they can't know how to produce solar? Every child should learn. We should send children to China to go and learn how to produce that solar panel. Because if we learn how to produce it, at least by now we should be assembling it in Nigeria. We should begin just like we normally do with cars. We first begin with assembling and later we'll start producing. I mean, solar is not something that is too big or complicated. If you look at the whole system, there's just nothing there inside because it's pure energy. It doesn't have too much of engine, just some few wires and some few coils, and before you know, you've produced that solar. The panels they look very flat. It's something that we can go into more research, send our children, because this is something that can help us, and we'll forget about this problem of NEPA, because we have sun from January to December in Nigeria. We have sun. So some countries that produce this solar don't even enjoy it the way we do because we have more sun than them. So it's an irony that some countries produce, we don't even need it so much. And we that have the sun, we don't even know how to produce it. What a world. We are there thinking of other things, going to study courses, zoology, anthropology, those things that are not even needed in our country. So let us go into what we really need. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, I'm really grateful. God bless you. Thank you.